Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. Today I have a yoga session that's centered around one muscle group, and that's the core. Today's session is going to be a little bit challenging, but I know you can do it. Try to stick with it, and I'll offer some regressions along the way. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hop into some comfy clothes, hop on your mat, and let's get started. To begin our session today, meet me here in Sukhasana, or easy cross-legged seated position. I recommend on a bolster or a blanket or some kind of prop that lifts you off the ground a little bit. Just make yourself a little bit more comfortable. Nice tall spine, nice proud chest, heart open, level chin. Today's session is about the core. That's core stability, a little bit of core strength. And this helps us not only in our yoga practice, but in our daily lives as well. So if we have a strong core, our daily life movements, our yoga postures will be even better. Now the core is more than just the abs that we may see, the rectus abdominis, and that's not Sanskrit, that's actually a Greek origin. That's what this muscle here is called, that's what our abs are. But our core is much more than that. Our core is not only rectus abdominis, but external obliques, internal obliques. The core wraps all the way around this trunk of the body, and it connects our upper and lower body. So it's extremely important. And if we have core stability, core strength in our lives, like I said, our movements will be that much easier. So let's begin. We'll relax the eyes closed. Begin to ground into your space. Settle in. Leave the outside world outside. Just be here, be present. We'll be doing a little bit of work today, but I know you can do it. Just try to stick with me as best you can. If not, you can take a resting posture such as hero's pose or child's pose if it gets a little too much for you, or you can find a nice regression that works for you. Let's begin with some easy breaths. Really breathe into that belly. Easy exhale through the mouth. Inhale, breathe into the belly. Feel that diaphragm, which is also part of the core musculature. Diaphragm pushing down as our lungs expand. Easy exhale. And really exaggerate breathing from the belly. As you inhale, exaggerate sticking the belly out. And as you exhale, really exaggerate sucking that belly in, making that diaphragm work. Another inhale, a little bit deeper this time. Feel the belly. Feel the ribs expand, and open mouth exhale. Feel the ribs go back into place. Feel the belly drop. Inhale, feel the belly, feel the ribs expand, and finally feel the chest lift and expand as you inhale all the way to the top. And open mouth exhale, let that go. Another inhale, fill the belly, really exaggerate it, fill the ribs, feel them expand, really exaggerate it, and feel the chest lift. Hold at the top. Another sip of air in, really force that oxygen into your body. And open mouth exhale, let that all go. Now let your breath run wild, but pay attention to it. Just notice your natural breath should go down to the belly first. Now, a lot of us, and I used to do this as well, breathe with our chest. Only into the chest, and that's not so good because we can be short of the oxygen we need to really inhale all the oxygen your body needs. The breath actually starts with the belly. So if we limit breathing into the chest, we just limit the amount of oxygen coming in. So as you play with your breath, really try to start from the belly and get that quality sip of air in. As you exhale, really try to exaggerate, sucking in the belly and getting all that air out of your body. Your body inhales oxygen and exhales carbon dioxide. And there's an exchange that happens. Your body runs off the oxygen, and the waste product is carbon dioxide, getting it out of your body. So you really want to have nice fulfilling breaths and then nice emptying exhales. And relax the eyes open. We'll begin to warm up the spine. So inhale, bring the arms up, touch the palms overhead, drop the right arm, place the right hand on the ground, and really with your hips still on your prop, really bend over, try to lengthen the side body. This is a great time to play around with your breath, see what inhaling into the side body feels like. Really expanding the side of the ribs. A little bit different than just sitting upright. When you're ready, inhale, back up to center. Right arm comes up, dropping the left arm, taking that lateral bend over to the left. Again, inhaling into the right side body, expanding the ribs. Your ribs actually have muscle fibers in between them that allows them to expand just a little bit. It's part of our respiratory system, our breathing system. It's also a great way to warm up the core. Switch. Take a lateral bend to the right. Great way to warm up our core. You can play around with how far back you lean, maybe how far forward you lean with your lateral bend, feeling where that stretch and that tension happens. Inhale back to center, switch arms, lateral bend to the left. Again, you can lean a little bit more forward, a little bit more back, whatever's comfortable for you, wherever you want to feel that stretch. Another breath or two here. Come back up to center. And hands back to the knees. We'll do a quick seated cat-cow, just one round. So inhale, lift the chest, lift the chin. Feel this rectus abdominis, this front abs, feel them stretch all the way down to your belly. Really breathe into it, expanding the belly. And exhale out, really suck the belly in, exaggerate the breath. And then round into a seated cat. Same thing, really breathe into it. And since our lower abdomen is crunched up in this position, the breath really starts to happen, starts to expand into the lower back. You can still feel it expanding to the ribs as well. When you're ready, inhale, come back up to center. Hands and arms come forward and up, and take a twist over to your right side. Left hand on the right knee, chin falls towards the back shoulder. Really take a breath into this twist and notice how this is a little different from the lateral bend that we just did. When you're ready, inhale, chin to front shoulder, and exhale, chin to back. And inhale, arms come forward and up, and take a twist to the opposite side. Opposite arm on the opposite leg. Chin falls towards the back shoulder. Really take a nice big belly breath in this position here and feel what's expanding. When you're ready, inhale, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back. Arms come forward and up. and either roll off your prop into table posture, I have to turn, or just come into a nice table posture. And we'll continue with some spinal warm-ups. So nice neutral table posture, shoulders stacked over the wrists, hips stacked over the knees. And we'll begin with a cow pose. Lift the chest, lift the chin, really drop that belly, try to exaggerate dropping that belly. Nice bend here in the back. Send the tailbone up to the sky. Breathe into the belly here. Feel how it really stretches the abdomen. Pushing through the earth with our hands. Our shoulder blades not scrunched up, but not super open. Just a nice kind of middle position with the shoulder blades, but really pushing through the earth. Breathing into that lower belly. Now we're going to move into cat pose, but we're going to move one body part at a time. So start to rotate the hips, really tuck the tailbone nice and slow. And then when you're fully tucked in the tailbone, you can start to round the rest of the back, pushing through the earth still. Eventually the chin will fall towards the chest. Really exaggerate, squeezing the glutes, tucking the tailbone, sending the spine up towards the sky. Really pushing through the earth here. And then same thing, we'll move from the hips first with an inhale back into cow. And when your hips are as high as they can go, or as forward leaning, forward tilting as they can go, then you can begin to move the rest of the spine. Nice cow pose. Breathe into it. Breathe into that belly. Same thing, move from the hips into cat pose. So tuck the hips first. Then one vertebrae at a time, start to round the spine into cat pose. Nice deep breath in this. When you're ready, inhale. Again, moving from the hips first. Rest of the spine follows. Into cow pose. Tailbone high, arching the back. Belly's dropped. Lift the chest, lift the chin. Breathe into that belly. And then one more time, start to tuck the hips. Rest of the spine follows, very slow, one vertebrae at a time. Chin falls towards the chest eventually. Really wrapping those shoulder blades around the rib cage. And then when you're ready, release back to a nice, neutral table posture. From your table posture, make sure your toes are tucked. Press through the earth. Lift the hips for downward facing dog. And since this is our first downward dog, we can pedal out the feet. Nice stretch in the calves, stretching the hamstrings. Nice slow, controlled movements. Pressing through the earth with the hands. Space between the ears and the shoulders. Shoulder blades not scrunched up. Nice neutral position. Hips high, back straight. Should be one line from my tailbone down to my wrists, down to my hands. Back legs should be straight unless you're pedaling. When you're ready, look towards the front of your mat. And with an inhale, begin to walk forward till your feet are between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen the spine, extend to the crown. And exhale, folds. And inhale, rise. Circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead. And bring the hands down to heart center. Now, a great core cue we can use to really move us through these postures is bracing. And the best way, I think, to describe bracing is imagine someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you tighten up, okay? And you don't tighten up, you don't necessarily drop like this, but tighten up, and it's kind of a co-contraction. You're squeezing in, you're pressing out almost at the same time. But when you brace, you really lock in all of the core from the front to the back. So bracing will really help us push through these sun salutations and the rest of your postures too, because in a lot of these postures, Warrior 3, Warrior 2, you really need a strong core, and bracing is a great way to do that. So from Tadasana with Anjali Mudra, hands at heart center, really load up into the legs and try to practice that bracing at the same time. Just imagine someone's going to punch you in the stomach and you kind of just, that flinch mechanism that we have, that's the best way, I think, to describe bracing. Really load up into the legs, drive the arms up, touch the palms overhead, swan dive forward, forward folds. You can have a nice bend in the knees here, resting the torso on the legs. Step back with the right leg, rise up into high lunge while bracing. So our ribs aren't out, our ribs are down, nice tight all around the core. High lunge, exhale, fold, hands to mat, step back into high plank. It's another great area for bracing. Really squeezing the glutes. Imagine pulling, if you had a belt buckle on, imagine pulling your belt buckle to your belly button. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down. Drop all the way to the belly. We'll do a low cobra here. So press down with the feet. Inhale. That cow position, that cow posture, basically lifting the chest, lifting the chin. That's low cobra. Exhale down, back to the mat. Table posture, tuck the toes, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that through. Rise up once more into high lunge. We practice that bracing here. Exhale down, hands to mat. Step forward with an inhale into a halfway lift, extending through the spine, through the crown. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise again, circling the arms up, touching the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. Now again, with bracing, you're contracting all around the core, but really squeezing the glutes as well. And you try to bring that imaginary belt buckle closer to your belly button. So bracing's not here, it's not all the way here, just nice squeezing the glutes, tilting that pelvis back just a little bit, bring the belt buckle to the belly button. So with hands at heart center, Anjali Mudra, load up into the legs, drive the arms forward and up, nice stretch here on the abdomen, and then swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back with the left leg. Inhale, rise up for high lunge. Really practice that bracing here. Exhale, hands to mat. Step back, high plank, shift forward, lower down. Flip the toes, and inhale for an upward facing dog or a high cobra with the knees in the ground. Upward dog with the knees off the ground. Again, we can take an extra breath here and really feel the front of the abdomen expand, especially if we breathe into it. This is a great one. When you're ready, flip the toes with an exhale. Press back into downward facing dog. Lift the right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that through between the hands. When you're ready, inhale, rise up, really strong in this back glute. Keep your balance. Our ribs not flaring out, but nice and tucked in, bracing around that core. Exhale, lower down, hands to mat. With an inhale, step forward and halfway lift at the same time, extending through the spine, through the crown. Exhale, lower down, forward fold, and inhale, rise. circling the arms up, touching the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. I'm going to load up into those legs again, drive, hands and arms forward and up. Nice back bend, extending through that front abdomen. And then swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts. And exhale, folds. And step back with the right leg with your hands planted on the mats. Nice, strong, really set up for this posture before we rise up into it. Nice, strong in this back glutes. Nice, strong abdomen. Practice this bracing. And then rise into a high lunge. Exhale, lower down, hands to mat. Step back into high plank. Shift forward. Lower down, flow through Chaturanga Vinyasa. Inhale into your upward dog or high cobra. And exhale, flip the toes. Press back, push your hips back and up into downward facing dog. With an inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, step that through. And with an inhale, rise up into high lunge once more, bracing with the core. Exhale, down, hands to mats. With an inhale, step up into a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Circling the arms up, touch the palms overhead. And bring the hands down to heart center. Last one, keep going, you got this. Load up into the legs. Drive the hands and arms forward and up. Nice back bend, stretch in the abdomen. And then swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifts. And exhale, fold. Step back with the left leg this time. Make sure you're really set up. Nice squeeze in that glute. Really planted down with the feet. When you're ready, inhale, rise up into high lunge. Exhale, down, hands to mat. Step back, high plank, shift forward, lower down, Chaturanga Vinyasa, flip the toes. Inhale, upward dog or high cobra. And then exhale, flip the toes and press back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step that through between the hands. Really set up for this. With an inhale, rise up into high lunge. And exhale, lower down, hands to mat. With an inhale, step the left foot forward into a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Circling the arms up, touch the palms overhead. And bring the hands down to heart center. You're doing great. Keep it up. You should be feeling some heat in the body, feeling that core working. It's all great things. Let's load up again to the legs. Circle the arms up. Touch the palms overhead, slight back bends. And then swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Step back into high plank. And while you're in this high plank, really squeeze the glutes. Imagine bringing your belly button to that belt buckle, your imaginary belt buckle. Hopefully you're not wearing a belt buckle during your yoga practice, but if you are, belt buckle, belly button, really bracing that core. Press back into downward dog. Lift the right leg for three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, bend that knee. Bring that knee to your chest, floating the toes off the ground. This is tiger pose. Inhale, back up. And then exhale, bring the right knee to the left elbow. This is twisted tiger. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, back up. Then one more, just for good measure, tiger pose. Knee to chest, floating the toes off the ground. And press back into three-legged dog. And then finally, we're going to step this foot between the hands. So with an exhale, step the foot between the hands. Rise up into high lunge. Exhale, lower down to the mat. Plant the hands, step back with the right foot, shift forward, lower down, flip the toes, chaturanga vinyasa, high cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, flip the toes, press back, downward facing dog. Now if this is getting too much for you, you can certainly take a resting posture such as hero's pose, maybe child's pose. But if you want to push through, I know you can do it. You got this. So let's keep moving. From our downward dog, with an inhale, lift the left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, tiger pose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, twisted tiger, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Sorry, plant. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. And one more tiger pose, just for good measure. Exhale, knee to chest, floating the toes off the ground. And then with an inhale, press back to three-legged dog. Now we're going to send the foot all the way through this time. So exhale, step the foot between the hands. Load up for high lunge. Nice energy here, straight back leg. Core braced, high lunge. Exhale, lower down, hands to mat. Step back into high plank, shift forward, lower down, chaturanga vinyasa, flip the toes. Inhale, upward dog or high cobra. Flip the toes, flip the feet, press back into downward facing dog. Now, from here, drop the knees to the mat. Go ahead and come onto your side, placing the right forearm on the mat. I said ground. Well, ground works too. Elbow, forearm, hand planted on the mat. I don't recommend holding your wrist flat against the ground like this. I recommend the palm on the ground because we tend to maybe put a little bit too much pressure on the wrists, and that's not good. So the regression is here with the knees on the ground, or a knee on the ground. You can stack them if you like. But the full side plank that we're going to do is either feet stacked or feet staggered. And this is side plank. But again, feel free to regress by placing a knee on the ground. But from here, extend the arm up, and you're going to follow the fingers the whole time as you bend at the elbow. Thread that through, almost like threading the needle, but really bracing with that core. You should be feeling it in the right side. Follow the hands, fingertips up, and exhale. Follow that through, thread that needle. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down, thread that through. And you're leading from the shoulder. You're not twisting with the hips first, really lead from that shoulder so your core stays nice and strong the whole time. One more time, lift. And plant that hand. Come into table posture and switch sides. Place the elbow, the forearm, the palm on the ground. Again, I don't recommend the wrist just because we don't want to put excess pressure on our wrist. And with the legs, you can either bend at the knees and do a knee plank. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to step it up a little, stagger the feet or stack the feet. Whatever you want to do, it's your practice today. Up into our side plank, extending our arm up. Again, leading from the shoulder here, not twisting with the hips first. Lead from that shoulder, follow the fingertips as we thread this needle nice and strong in the core, bracing the core. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale, thread that needle through as far as you can go. Inhale, lift. Exhale, thread that needle through. Tracking the fingertips with the eyes the whole time. One more. Thread that through. Inhale, lift. And place the hand on the ground. Back into table posture. Now from here, since we did quite a bit of work, you can take a child's pose, you can take a hero's pose, a resting posture of your choice. If you want to do that, please feel free, pause the video, maybe grab a little bit of water if you like. But if you'd like to follow along, come down into a low plank position, palms flat on the ground, elbows under the shoulders, tuck the toes and press up into a low plank. Actually, I'm going to move a little bit onto my mat here. So into a low plank, not arms out at a V, but arms straight, fingers pointed forward. This is a low plank position. Again, that bracing, squeezing the glutes, engaging the core, bracing the core, that belt buckle, the belly button like we talked about. This is our low plank. Now from here, you're really going to drive into that right forearm, really press that palm on the ground, and lift the left leg off the ground. So now we just lost a point of contact. So now where we're bracing, where we're putting that energy has to shift. Go ahead and set that back down. Take a breath. Make sure you're breathing through this. But really press down with that left side. And same thing, we're going to lift the right side up into the air. And try to keep it straight. Don't try to bend it like this, but try to keep it straight, toes pointed down. And again, our point of contact has shifted, so we're only 3 points of contact now instead of 4. So where we have to really work has to change. Go ahead and set that back down. Go ahead and rest a bit. Bring the wrists under the shoulders and press up into a high cobra and really stretch that abdomen, that front side. Take a few breaths in this posture and feel with the inhale, feel how it expands the ribs, expands the belly. When you're ready, exhale, lower back down to the ground, and we'll do another round. So come into this almost Sphinx position. Let's set up for your low plank. Elbows on the ground, forearms on the ground, palms flat, fingertips pointed forward. Press up into that low plank. Again, squeezing from the glutes. Try not to let the hips drop. I think I was doing that on the last round, but try to keep the hips up, really squeezing that glute, really bracing the core. Press down with the right forearm and lift the left leg. You can have your stance a little bit wider, make this a little bit easier, or you can have it hip width, your choice. Really bracing with the core, breathing into that brace. And set that down. Take a breath, rest for a second, and then really drive into that left side and float that right leg into the air. And relax, set that down. Set the knees down, come down to the mat, wrist underneath the shoulders. Actually go a little bit lower, maybe a little bit wider. Press up into high cobra, really expand that chest, lift the chin. Really let your hips fall towards the ground, really expanding that front side of your core. Take another breath. And exhale. Lower down. Press up into table posture. Swing the legs around, come onto your bottom. Move into about the upper third of your mat. Place the feet, soles of the feet on the earth, and then we're going to float the legs into the air, and this is boat pose, Navasana. You can extend the legs if you like. You can bring the arms up, various positions, or you can just keep them on the ground, but I recommend floating them up to really get the most out of this core training. You can exhale, bring the knees to the chest. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Inhale, extend. Really bracing in the core here. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, extend. 2 more times. Exhale. Last time. Exhale, knees to chest. Inhale, extend the legs and set the soles of the feet on the earth. Walk the hips back a little bit. Keep the left leg flat on the earth, toes pointed up. Bend this right knee. Have the right ankle by the left knee. And if this is where you are, that's fine, but if you're able to bring the right ankle on the outside of the left knee, that's great. Make sure you maintain this upright posture, this tall spine. Take the left arm and wrap the elbow around the knee. Interlock the fingers and try to pull your fingertips apart. They may be sweaty, so it might work pretty well, but twist over to the right side. And if you want to level this up, plant the right arm on the ground, bring the left elbow inside, or on the outside of the right leg, and twist over with the abdomen first and then the shoulders follow, breathing and progressing into this. And this is half Lord of the Fishes, especially with the expression of the fingertips pointed up. Half Lord of the Fishes pose. Really breathing, and you're not forcing yourself to twist. Nice, easy breaths here. We're cooling the abs down. You made it through this. I'll call it a yoga flow, but it was kind of more of a core workout, wasn't it? And relax the arm. Slowly bring it around. Bring this leg on the inside of the left leg. Extend. Bend in the left side. Again, keeping both hips on the ground. And if this is where you are, that's fine. But if you're able to take that left ankle, left foot, bring it on the outside of the right knee, great. Bend the elbow around the knee, interlock the fingers, and try to pull these arms apart, twisting at the same time. So twist from the belly button first, and then the shoulders can follow. And if you'd like to progress from here, plant the hand on the ground, bring the right elbow on the outside of the left knee, and extend the fingertips up. This is half Lord of the Fishes. If you'd like to progress even more, but still maintaining an upright spine, go ahead and remove this left arm. You can bind it behind the back. But if you need that kickstand, that's completely okay. Breathing, progressing into this posture. It's half Lord of the Fishes. Another couple breaths here. And slowly start to unravel, unwind, release. Bring the left foot on the inside. Extend. Bend at the legs. Have the feet out wide. Fingertips pointed backwards. And just kind of bask here. You can let the knees fall over to the left. Bring them up the center. Let them fall over to the right. This windshield wiper type motion with the legs. When you're satisfied with that, come up, back to center. Come into a hero's pose. Sitting on the feet. You can have a blanket down if that makes it more comfortable for you. You can tuck the toes. So you're seated more on the heels instead of, tucking the toes so you're more upright, a little bit easier on the feet. If you want to do just regular hero's pose, hands stacked in the lap. And just take a minute here to congratulate yourself. Be grateful for your body. What you just did was not easy. Not easy at all, but you did it. I'm proud of you. Strengthening the core doesn't happen overnight. It won't happen with this one workout. It's something that needs constant improvement. So core stability, core strength. The more we improve that stability and strength, the better we move in our yoga practice, the better we move in our daily lives. The easier it will be to get into that proper warrior 1 or warrior 2 or balancing posture. The easier it'll be to bend over and pick something up without any back pain or anything like that. So I really encourage you to keep practicing on the core. There's tons and tons of core exercises out there that we can use. But if you'd like to just use it for your yoga practice, that's great. Hopefully you take something away from this video. Hopefully you learn something about bracing. And the more you practice it, the more you'll start to notice those little changes in your life. And relax the eyes open. Really acknowledge yourself for completing this yoga practice. Like I said, it wasn't easy, but you did it. Let's take one more breath together. Circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, bring the hands down to heart center. Thank you for joining me in this practice today. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little something, and I hope you got some work out of it. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.